All right, welcome to 9 Steps to a Great Drum Mix. This is sort of a basic overview and definitely follows what I'm talking about in the Drum Mix Toolkit chapter, chapter 1, I think it is, 9 Steps to a Great Drum Mix. So I'm just going to go through some basic things here. Let me find the arrange window. I just have a simple drum beat here from an old drummer of mine. And it's nothing crazy, but it does have enough tracks. It has a snare, up and down snare, a hi-hat, toms. They're actually edited out, so there's instead of gating them, I just edited out all of the silences, so they're really only being played on like a few different places here. Then I have an overhead right and an overhead left. Then I have a room drum. So this is basically how that sounds, more or less unmixed. All right, so that's just a simple beat, easy to work with here. So step 1 here is starting the initial balance. So let me just do a quick pass here. Okay, let's leave that for now. I do really like the overhead and the room sounds, but it is, like you have to think about what kind of track it is, and it might not really be a good idea to have it be super big and super roomy because it's sort of a tight rock sound that we were looking for. Although the room sound might get accented more than the overheads, just to get that added depth. But you might have noticed that, I'm trying to push the snare up, and it isn't really getting anywhere. And that brings us sort of to the step number 2, which is checking polarity and phase. And this is a great example because if we go into here and we look at a snare waveform, you can see that they are out of phase with each other, more or less. So like when the upper waveform is going up, the under snare mic waveform is going down. And you can do this in multiple ways. You can, I can invert the entire signal, but the easiest way to do that is to just put on a polarity plugin or an EQ that has a polarity button, or sometimes it's a plugin that just does this one thing. Whatever you choose to use, as long as it flips the polarity, we're good. So just take a listen to the changes in the snare drum as I hit this polarity switch. Let's redo that because I have to actually turn the EQ on. So let's wait for suspense again. I thought about editing this out, but maybe we'll just leave it in to show you how stupid every engineer can be when they forget to flip the plugin on. All right, you ready? just all that sort of thickness and low mids and low end is back into the drum, because now you have both the under and the over snare microphones and tracks working together instead of against each other. So that's step number 2. Now we go on to step number 3, which is grouping. So you want to that's obviously a little overboard, but without any processing or anything like that, it still shows you a good example of what you can do. So that's sort of it for the 9 steps to a great drum mix. Read on in the book so that you can get a better feel for what you do at every step of the process. But I hope that this video was a good primer on showing you the sort of step-by-step process that you can take to not be too worried about what you're doing when you're mixing your drums. So see you in the next video.